Ontario and one that's from Toronto.
Don't know if Megan's here yet, but our winner
Okay,
of
cool.
the scholarship is from Ontario, moved to Alberta. So
Wow.
Oh my
Okay,
God.
see, I thought, yes, Emily. See, I thought your name sounded familiar from Canada. Yes.
All right. And by the way, if you're watching this on Instagram or TikTok right now, you still could join the class where you'll see the notes and everything. So you could join. We could put the link in the chat for you if you're here on Instagram or TikTok. But I am seeing a lot of people here, all from Miami. This is a Miami crew.
shout out Miami.
And I just saw Boca in the Instagram. Or that was TikTok. I can't keep up. There's a lot going on here. Can I put the link in the chat? Sure. Someone who is on TikTok will put the link in the chat, I'm sure. Baltimore, cool. Philly, someone from YouTube's in Hawaii. North Shore, Mass. Pennsylvania, Wyoming. It's wild. I feel like I pinch myself. Like, can't believe that, like, the amount of places. Okay.
Yes.
Philly, Cuba. I live in Miami.
Got a New York,
I'm in New York City right now.
New Orleans, Massachusetts, Wyoming. I was there earlier in the year in November, and it was too cold for me, and it wasn't even cold yet.
It is horrible. My daughter just went back to Rhode Island, and I was like, "Are you freezing?" And she was like, "Yes, thank you for my fleece leggings."
Oh my gosh.
Florida. Oh my gosh. Jennifer, you're here. Welcome. Tony was too tired. Okay, well, next time. Don't worry, there's 23 more classes.
He went back to school today. So, like, after 2 weeks off and him actually staying on a semi-routine till, like, last Thursday or something. And then that's when the up all night and, yeah, he's crashed. He's sleeping right now.
Again, don't worry, we have 23 more opportunities.
Oh, yeah, he'll definitely make his appearance.
Good, I can't wait.
I would like to point out, those of you who just joined, that there are 2 almost full pages of people with their camera on.
We want to reinforce, by the way, we are looking for people with their camera on. That is an SD that we want to give out reinforcement to you, okay? There's nothing like teaching a black square.
It's so hard, you guys.
It's like you're just begging for a reaction. When we see faces, it's so exciting for us to teach. And I'm telling you, my jokes are so much funnier when I have an audience. I'm very like to perform. I'm very like to perform.
It makes it a lot easier when you can, like, see people and you're like, okay, we're getting it. Versus, like, I'm looking at Kara or Jessica, like, all right. So I am excited to have all of these faces. This is amazing.
Me too. We have
So happy.
so much going on. Okay, and I did not forget you, Carolyn. I was about to make a huge announcement for Carolyn all the way from Puerto Rico. Now made it all the way to South Florida. Carolyn, welcome. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. Look at that book.
Callie's friend is in class right now. By the way, if you're watching, again, and don't worry, if you're in the live class, I'm not going to be saying this the whole time, but I have 11 minutes. If you're someone like asking about this on the side in the other phones right now, or sorry, Instagram and TikTok, you could still join live because you'll be able to hear what we're talking about, but you're not going to be able to see my notes because I just we didn't figure out how to do that yet. And we have to build some MO, you know what I mean? All right, so who here has done anything Snap before? Who's first time? You go ahead and put it in the chat. You could say it out loud, but it will get loud pretty quickly. Kara, I wouldn't post the link directly. I'd post it to the website.
We have a lot of first times. I love this. And mini mocks, and you listen to the podcast. Ooh, I'm glad you're at a lunch and learn. YouTube from the SAF meds.
Sarah, listen to every podcast episode. What's your favorite?
I love this.
The brothel one. That is like our top hitting episode. Wow, amazing. You drink from the coffee mug every day. And Sarah, you know what? For being a Behavior Bitches listener, Martha, can you make sure that we send her some Behavior Bitches stickers?
I love that there's so many first-time people.
Welcome. And by the way, if you just joined, please tell us where you're from. I really love seeing the locations. Lunch and Learn. He's got the coloring book. We're in Virginia. Podcast and app. Amazing. You've used some of our mini mocks I see over here. Oh my God, Store Wife. It's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you. You passed what, like 5 years ago? All right. So first time, you just love the Instagram. Thank you. Kara, people just love the Instagram. We put our heart and soul in that.
Kira does a fantastic.
Yay. Georgia
By the way, guys,
Peach.
we're gonna be upping the Instagram and all the engagement. So anything you want to see, content, topics, concepts.
If you write beautiful notes, also share it with us. We love posting that shit in the Instagram.
I was gonna say, if you just message our Instagram, anything like when you're studying too, reviewing your notes, like we love to see your study setups and we'll post it. It like inspires people and inspires us. So always feel free to share your notes or anything you're doing.
We will be around on all these platforms. Okay,
Even if
everyone
you're
is from
in-
Miami. If Miami does not have like a study group of at least 20 people in it, I don't
I
know
know.
what you guys are doing.
I swear.
Like you guys have nice weather, go sit at the beach, bring your Cooper book, pour a drink.
Yeah.
AJ's here. He'll host all of you guys on the beach. He's an alcoholic. It's totally fine.
We're also hopefully this year going to do some meetups. So
I would like.
sounds like Miami should be top of the list, but we'll see.
It should be. It should be. Posts and pictures too, even if you are in the merch. Because I sent a picture to Kara the other day of my own kid with our Snappa bag. And she's going to spend the night. And she's like, "Mom, can I borrow this?" And I was like, "Yes, but I need a picture first. Thank you."
Good. That's right, Danielle. That is right. I have a question. Is there anyone in here who is like, has a baby that's been born in the last 3 months? And you're here studying?
God, me.
Who is that?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, perfect. Can we make sure we get her a baby onesie and you send a picture of it? We need to make sure.
Send an email to contact@studynotesaba.com
Hopefully that makes up for your mom brain.
with your address. That's pretty good.
Thanks. I need to reinforce her.
And Michelle, you as well.
Thanks.
Michelle, send an email as well, and praying for a safe and healthy baby.
I love it. Okay, next. Hey, Maddie Murphy. Thanks for your camera being on. Jennifer McCloskey. What's up? Hey. Anna Carroll. Hey. Shanae Simi. Did I say that right? You guys
Yeah,
know,
you did.
You know how nerve-wracking it is, like saying people's names out loud? It's like,
I don't. That's why I don't do it.
yeah. That's why. Well, like Danielle also has dyslexia. So dyslexia on top of reading hard names, it's very difficult.
Can't sound anything out. Doesn't work that way.
Here we go. I see. Is that LaQuasha? Is that how you pronounce your name? Jones? Maybe not. Okay. Tiffany? Hey. Bridget? Espen? Sydney? By the way, if your cameras are on, you're going to have a better experience in class because then you'll be engaged and it's a way to keep you accountable.
Well, and here's the news. If you're concerned about people looking at you on your camera, no one's really looking at anyone. You're really watching the screen. So, but what's nice is when you have your camera on, it's helpful for us as the teachers so that we can are people done writing? Are people looking at it? So it helps us because then we're not just talking to ourselves, and that's really, it's really hard, you guys. So it is awesome to have it on. It's awesome to have, people talking in the chat, and you guys have a community, and it's really fun. And you get to join us every day in our lives. We just become one giant family. It's okay, Robin. You will figure out. You may need to just update your Zoom, and then your camera will work.
Jenna stopped by to say hi. She passed in 20 because of Snappa. Woo! Hi, Jenna. Welcome back. In 2020?
Congratulations.
That's 6 years ago. That's wild. That's so, like, I'm
Job.
realizing the more stuff we're doing, especially with, like, placing people with jobs with Pair ABA now, I'm like, they're like, yeah, I took your class 7 years ago. I'm like, have I been a BCBA? That, like, it's kind of crazy. Like, just goes by.
Yeah. Jenna needs to make sure she gets her CEUs taken care of. If it's 2020.
Yep. Okay. We have everyone here. Exciting. Someone here has their master's. They never did their hours.
Get in there.
Get in there.
Done.
Get in
It's
there.
worth
Get
it.
done. Okay, so I am going to start on time. So if you're someone watching from Instagram or TikTok, if you keep asking, I just want you to know you could join the actual class live where you'll see all the notes and everything.
Choose.
Okay, so, and there's no pressure to buy the class if you come to this. At least you'll learn something, have a few laughs. This is my comedy show that I get to perform. So I was always looking for a stage. No one let me go on it, so I made my own. Okay, we're having a CEU. Oh, we're having a CEU sale. Yes, we are. Do I need to pay for it now? You do not need to pay for it. It's a free class. By free, like legit free.
Yeah, come hang out with us.
Like free
Yes.
AF.
Today is our CEU anniversary, right? Or is it today? Or
Yeah.
Yes. So sale on the CEUs for those who passed.
If you are BCBA already watching, it is the CEU anniversary. So check that out. All CEUs are discounted.
Yeah, and they're fantastic.
This is true. I just want to make sure, is the YouTube working? Because like when I click on it, I don't see anything, but it is.
Yeah, working. It's a little slower. So for those on YouTube, come join us here. Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't see anything, so cool. Oh my gosh, now people are coming in from Meta. Okay, literally, guys, I just want you to know, as someone with ADHD, team, you guys have got all these responses on every location, right?
Where we're
Jessica will do anything Facebook related. They're like popping up everywhere.
Wait, Leah, did you make one of us a co-host to let people in?
I'm letting people in right now.
Okay, cool. So you're all good.
Yep. We're good. We're rocking and rolling.
Okay. All right, one more time before class starts because we have a lot more people. How many people are in here now? 98.
Mm-hmm.
One more time before we get started. Give me some locations if you just got here. Let's see if we get any more interesting ones. Where are you located?
Ooh, you got a Dallas.
Cool. I'm in Dallas.
Nice.
Danielle's in Fort Worth. Well, right now I'm in New York City.
You're in Brooklyn.
I'm in Brooklyn. Is that not New York City?
I mean, it is, but you're in Brooklyn.
I'm in Brooklyn.
And that's way cooler. Right?
LA, North Carolina, Miami, Delaware, Texas, Westchester,
Got a Brooklyn.
Lakeland,
Lawrence is in Brooklyn.
North Carolina, Baltimore.
I hope that made you want to sing the song just a little bit.
Which one?
Good morning, Baltimore.
North Carolina.
Come on. Yeah, North Carolina, BCBAs, you're wanted. It's a hot industry.
Lawrence is in Brooklyn.
See?
I'll vibe with you, Danielle, because I knew exactly where you were
Dang.
going with that one.
I can't help it.
Oh my God, Alyssa in Chicago just passed this Saturday thanks to Snava. Hell yeah.
Yay!
I love it. All right, then, Alyssa, if you're looking for a job, head on over to your next step, Pair ABA and CEUs by Snava. And it's a CEU sale. George, can you say what it's exactly going on?
Oh, today is... So we launched the CEUs by Study Notes ABA in 2021. So what is it? 5 years? 22? 4. It's our 4-year anniversary. We've been around since 2021. And we have a sale for 20% off. Code annual26.
Annual 26. That's ANNUAL 26. All right, it is 7:30. Do you know what that means? I mean, 6:30 for you in Texas, 7:30 for me here in New York. I'm getting started. Oh my gosh, someone. Oh, Shira. Hi.
Hello.
I'm so happy to meet you. That you met my sister. Amazing. At a Friendship Circle event. Love Friendship Circle. In
Yeah,
Dallas?
Dallas, she's a big supporter. She made sure I was on your app before I even finished my hours. So
That's good because usually she takes advantage of the business, right, AJ? All right, let's see what I can share here. All right.
I'm recording, yes?
Yeah, you're so good.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Let me know when I'll do your
No, I like
countdown.
it in here.
No, I'm staying here.
Yeah, I like an audience.
Yeah, I know. Emotional support audience.
Uh-huh.
Well, I also want to make sure everything's working.
Yeah, there's just like so much that could go right,
All right, are you ready?
Start recording this?
No, she's about to start recording.
Okay.
In
5, 4, 3, 2.
Recording in progress.
Hi everyone and welcome to Collective 1. This is the first night of the collective. If you're here because you're in class, amazing. You're in the right place. You're not going to regret it. You're going to have the best time of your life and you're not going to hate every second of studying. If you're here joining Try Before You Buy, enjoy it because you'll have at least the best night of your life at a minimum. And you could see what you think about SnapUp. So welcome. You're literally already 4% the way there. With our classes, after tonight's class, you will be 4% the way through everything you need to know for the exam. We are going to walk you through every single step from starting tonight of like, I'm thinking about taking this exam, to I've signed up for this exam, now where the hell do I start, to shit, I'm taking the exam soon, to I'm holding my Cooper book and I'm petrified of it, what do I even do? I don't understand the Cooper book. Every fear you've had, we address here, so you're in the right place. So, and there's a lot of excited energy tonight. We always say like, yo, we are so excited to meet you. We've now been teaching the collective since 2018, and we start at new 4 times a year. So it happens quarterly. The test used to only be offered 4 times a year. And so we've kept to that schedule because we still believe that like the way that we have made this collective to be, it was 10 weeks, but now it's 12 weeks long. We believe it's the perfect amount of time for you to really learn the content and be able to do the reading in between. So we're so excited to have you here. I'll chill out a little. In the beginning, my energy is like, if you can feel my heart, it's like excited. I really get like a high from teaching. So, but we are way more excited to help you pass. We live to get the messages like Liat, Danielle, Kara, any of us. I've passed the exam. Like the feeling of hearing that from someone else, it feels like I'm passing the exam again every time. And I want you to know, anyone who's on the SNABA team here, from the BCBA side who are going to be teaching the classes, we remember what it was like being on the other side. I think a lot of people pass the exam and they're like, oh, that was like a fart in the wind, just like fleeing, right? Like that is not, like you are putting your life on hold for this time being. Like I know what it's like to study for this test. I know the stress that goes into it. I know that feeling of like, am I ever going to do this? Can I pass this? And that stress that starts, I'd say as soon as you're in your first grad school class and they let you know like, oh, by the way, welcome to your program in ABA. Soon you're going to be in, you're going to take a test in the future. And from that day onward, at least for me anyways, I had stress of like, oh my God, I'm not taking enough in my grad school. Like, how am I going to pass this test? Like that stress starts right then. But the thing with grad school is you're just trying to get through. And I always tell people, I'm like, just make it through grad school. Keep your head above the water. We've got you when it's time to test. So if you're someone, I always like to let everyone know this. If you're someone who had a really shitty grad school experience, or you're someone who had a really horrible supervisor and you're like, I am so fucked, I want you to know that you are not special. I hate to say it, but I really mean that this is so sad, but we hear about this all the time. So we are here for you, whether you have ever studied ABA in your life or not. That is how broken down we make the content from the bottom up. So if you were focused on school when you were in school, great. We're ready for you as soon as you're on the other side. If you have some ABA background from school, then great. You're at a little bit of an advantage. But we are going to help you with every step along the way. Okay, so now this is we have some new slides that I'm very excited about. This is the SNABA team. And it starts off, you could see me here, like I'm like the most popular, like the popular girl in school, like also the main teacher, like who started it, but not always the main teacher. So that's me, like basically cool. Everyone wants to be friends with me, that kind of thing. Then we have Danielle, who is also a BCBA main teacher here. She knows everything. She is not going to mess around. She kind of wears like a spiked collar, like kind of scary, might bite. She wears collar for multiple reasons, both because she's a little scary and for other fun things too. But by the way, she will make sure you know your shit. Danielle knows this content way better than me. She was my student, but definitely if you put us one against each other, she would slay. Next, we have Kara, who is like, oh, like she's the girl on the team who was like obviously varsity on every sport because she's like really tall. And she was just like, all the guys really liked her. Like the football guys, they never gave me a second glance. I felt like I was more popular than I actually was, but they were all into her. And so she was always like on the volleyball team and stuff. And I was just the volleyball manager. Then we have Jessica. Jessica is a total teacher's pet. I'm going to draw dog ears on her because she is the one who is like always like asking for extra homework when we were already given out a shit ton. That you'll expect from Jessica. She's teacher's pet. You could go to her anytime. When she was in the collective, she followed every rule and did every extra homework, and she really leaned into the process. If we told her to like draw out doodles, she drew out doodles. If we told her to read this page of her book, she read that page of her book. She leaned into the process and she passed. So be like Jessica. Next is Julia. Julia is probably somewhere. You could see her here also. She might be waving at you. She may not. She may be in her own world completely. That's possible too. Julia is probably like burning sage over here on the side, wearing a flower crown, doing something hippie, maybe smoking a joint, not sure. But she's super creative, and anything creative, colorful that you see Snabba in terms of branding, it's Julia. Julia has been able to take my personality and turn it into a brand. So anything you see Snabba related, whether it's a composition notebook, when you're clicking on a Zoom room to join, it's all Julia. Here's AJ. AJ is the only boy. He basically is like the bachelor on this show. Also my ex-boyfriend. I've begged him to date me for years. He wouldn't, or to commit. So now he works for me. So, asshole. But he's still with us and he's a good worker. But he'll help you with anything that you need along the way. Next we have Jordan. Jordan was my first ABA friend that I ever had. And someone said, oh, you and Jordan should meet. You'd be good friends. You're both Jewish and you're an ABA. So I was like, okay. And we were living in Austin. So I met Jordan. And Jordan is like super OCD. So you can imagine like all her stuff is like very straight and like lined up next to each other. She's perfect. We work together. Jordan does all things CEU. So when you pass this test, you're going to be working alongside of Jordan's. And we could not be more polar opposite. We work great together, but we are like Jordan has everything in Excel sheets. I have everything in a huge mess everywhere. So I'm in her space right now, hoping I'm not messing anything up, trying to stay clean and orderly. She's actually more chill than I realized. Here's Martha. Her picture could make you feel a little bit dizzy, but this is how I feel before Martha is in my life, okay? I don't know why her picture has this like 3D effect going on, but Martha, by the way, much hotter than this picture looks. She has amazing hair. She's just not wearing it down here. So I'll go ahead and draw it for her. But super hot, best smile ever, super chill, deals with my ADD like a rock star. She's my right hand. You could find her. Really anything that I get done is because of everyone here, collectively. So this is the Snappa yearbook. I went to make this intro. I was really excited about this slide. When I thought of this idea, I was like, dude, let's do yearbook. And I like draw on people's faces and shit. So we did it. It worked. I'm so excited. Cute. You like it? Snappa team, you like it?
Yeah,
Fun.
I love it.
New
I
fun,
feel
right?
like that needs to say yearbook though. That would be cute too.
The yearbook, yeah.
Thank you.
I love it. Our 2026 class.
Yes, cute.
Okay, we'll get there. So, by the way, in case you're confused, I've realized this lately that like maybe like our brands don't have a clear connection. Like someone, I might speak to them like on the phone to like help them like get a job with Pair ABA. They're like, wait, is this Liat like from Behavior Bitches podcast? I'm like, yeah, oh, they're all the same. So in case you're confused, right now you're part of Study Notes ABA. We're going to help you pass the test, okay? All things BCBA. When you are ready to, when you've passed in your BCBA, you are then going to be using CEUs by Study Notes ABA. We have a huge library of CEUs with a ton of contributors. we're not the only ones teaching it because I'm not qualified to teach all that stuff because I'm not that smart. But if you enjoy the experience here in the collective, you'll love our CEUs after. And also, if you're wondering like what job opportunities are out there, Pair ABA, this should have said Pair ABA, just so you could find the website. That is where we will help you place you in jobs that we would actually want to work. We saw so many people working at really shitty clinics. So every single business that we have done has been the result of someone saying something else they needed. Okay, so Study Notes ABA, you'll hear how that started. Behavior Bitches, if you don't listen to Behavior Bitches, go subscribe now. And if you want to make me really happy, go subscribe on YouTube. We really are trying to grow that. So please go subscribe on YouTube. And if you send a screenshot to AJ in the chat, maybe he'll send you something. We're really trying to grow that. Okay, but Behavior Bitches started because people were in their car driving from client to client and they wanted to be studying. And I'm like, dude, we could apply this shit to anything. So we have episodes about brothel owners, people who were in jail for 26 years for killing their mom, heroin addicts, BCBAs doing ABA stuff. I mean, it's a wide range, all cool things behavior. So you should definitely go check that out. But this is all in the SNABA ecosystem. So if you see any of these things, it's still us. And by the way, it might seem like, wow, there's such a big company, they're doing all these things. It's really just all these people you saw here that I showed you doing all this. So we are all kept very busy. All right, moving right along. Breaking news for everyone, which I'm so happy to do this. The breaking news is studying does not have to suck, okay? Whatever you have been conditioned to believe or what experiences you've had in the past, fear no more. It doesn't have to suck. You could actually enjoy the process. All right. I know people are like, oh, this is so fun. We're going to go clean a dog shit together. It's not like that. I'm talking like you actually are going to enjoy the process and be like, holy shit, I did not realize that studying could be something that I actually don't hate. You actually are, I promise you, this sounds crazy. Okay. Maybe not for everyone, but there are plenty of people who probably even came in here right now who are BCBAs already, and they're like, can I take the collective again? And I'm like, sure, you're welcome to come sit and join the collective, but they're like, I miss it. Now that I'm not now that I'm not studying anymore, that was like the highlight of my week, the community, the people, you know? So enjoy it while you're in here. Look at this as like, I have this for a limited amount of time. We'll always be here for you thereafter. Do not worry. As you can see, we keep old people around, like my ex-boyfriend. So like, we'll always be around for you, but just letting you know that like, enjoy this process. Okay. I think I need this slide more than anyone. This is really a cue for me. All right, everyone? Take a deep breath in. Okay, I need an extra one. Okay. That was really for me, but the rest of you guys. And I just got to say one thing really quickly. Sorry, this is new that we live stream these classes. There are so many people, like, the messages coming in from Meta. I don't know what that is. Like, being like, I can't find a link. I can't find a link. Do we have them taken care of, I'm assuming? Okay. So this deep breath, I'll do one more now. Because now I got all those. I think I need to put, like, Post-its over these other cameras for myself. Okay, what that breath is for is because whatever stress you have been holding about this exam, whether because you've taken the exam before or when you were in school, you were worried you weren't taking it enough. You know your supervisor has like done the bare minimum, not prepping you at all. You've worked at a really shitty, unethical clinic that you're not even sure if they're actually doing ABA. So you're worried about this test. Leave all that right here in that breath you just took. Because we are going to take you from the bottom, the foundations, all the way to the nitty-gritty details you need to know for this test. We're going to talk to you about what is, anytime like, by the way, guys, my ADHD is out of control. So like if someone's like mic goes off or something, like these stimuli in the environment, like you don't understand, there's all these hearts going on in the TikToks around me. I'm trying, like, I literally feel like I need blinders, okay?
You're gonna need it. Gordon needs to cover him up.
I know. Maybe text her. So, what I was saying is, we are going to help you with understanding the actual content, telling you what you should be doing when. We're going to also tell you, like, here's actual testing tips. Like, if you get a question like this is what your brain should be saying. This is how you're going to do this. Jordan, I heard you came in here to put Post-its over it. You don't understand. These stimuli next to me, there's hearts.
I was watching
and
her
love.
live.
I'm losing my, this is a lot.
Keep going. I got you.
Okay. So every single thing that you're worried about, like, this is our job. We do this full time. We've now been doing it since 2018. You do the math. Like, this is our jam. So, like, leave it with us. So, like, I'm going to go to the pros, the people who know about test prep. Okay? That's us. There. Okay? So relax. There is one non-negotiable for this test. And the non-negotiable is you have to read your Cooper and your ethics book. Okay? Cooper book. Okay? 3rd edition Cooper book is where we're at now. Ethics book by Bailey and Birch. We are currently on the 4th edition book. Does the edition of your book matter if you're going to ask that? Yeah. Things change, okay? If you are someone and you are using the 2nd edition Cooper book, I see Jordan has it here. Jordan, sorry for these books right now.
They'll fall. It's fine. Let them fall.
Okay? By the way, when I took the test, this was the book. When you take the test, this is the book. Okay? You see that thickness difference? You need the correct edition. We are a science. That means we are always changing what is best practice. Okay? So with that, you need the current book. And if you're someone, you're like, I don't know, because I don't want to have to, like, pay for, a book. I might want to return it. This is a book you're going to need forever. Like, this is, like, the entire guide. The entire test is on this. If I say something, hopefully I'm trustworthy and you could listen to me or Danielle or whoever is teaching. But your book has the final word. So you need to read your Cooper and your ethics book. So if you're going to make a commitment, it happens to be the new year, great time to be like, you know what, I'm actually going to do my readings. I get not doing the readings in grad school because you're trying to keep up with the assignments, but, like, that's really the only thing we need you doing outside of class. Okay. Now that I got enough of that, pick and stick. Now, what does this mean? As someone who struggles with ADHD to such a level that it's like I could barely finish any sentences, pick and stick is going to be highly valuable to you. If you're someone, whether you do have ADHD or any sort of learning anything or not, you might have a little bit of shiny ball syndrome like myself. So when I started studying for the exam, I remember asking Jordan, whose apartment I'm at right now, being like, hey, can I have your notes that you use? Because you took such good notes. Because, like, she was actually my first student because she was already studying for the exam, but I was still, like, an FIT for it, and I would, like, teach concepts to her because I just love teaching. And so I'd be like, let me have your notes. So I'd get all her notes. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I need to take my own. So I started taking my own notes. Then I'd see Quizlets online. I'd be like, I'm going to study it through Quizlets. Then I was like, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to start using this program and that. And you know what? I'll tell you, for 6 weeks straight, I just studied the 7 dimensions and the 6 attitudes of science because I did it like 19 different ways. And if I studied like that, I would never get through everything because I was just moving around, ADD, like whatever looked more exciting, I would do. And by the way, having her notes did nothing for me. I'd take them to myself.
And my flashcards.
And your flashcards. I took them for security.
You a box.
I took literally a box of all her stuff, but that was her studying. So, whatever you're going to do, pick and stick. If you're here and you already signed up for SNABA, haha, you're locked in. You're going to come in. You're here for this process. If you're someone and you want to be like Jessica and you're like, I'm going to lean into this process, it will work. All right? If you come tonight and you're trying it out and you're like, oh my God, like this chick is not for me. Like I'm good. Fine. But find something that you're going to use and stick with it. All right? That is going to help you in this process. Next up, you do not have to do this, but if you are someone who wants to actually read your book, the best antecedent intervention you could do is tabbing your Cooper book, okay?
I have mine.
you have yours, and I traveled all the way with mine here, and I happen to be at Jordan's. So here, you see these tabs? We sell these on the Snappa site. You also could make your own. Sorry, it's not always showing. You also could make your own tabs if you want. We just do it for convenience. They are marked exactly so that you have chapter 1. You know where to look for something. Chapter, oh, okay, I need schedule of reinforcement. Oh, I see it right here, chapter 13. You turn to it. The likelihood of you reading your book when you have this, it creates such less response effort of looking something up. All right? So tab your book. Again, we have options at Snappa that you could get the things from us, but if you want to make your own, do it. We just have made products to make it easier for you. But if you want to do your own, please. But I'm telling you, you are going to increase, it's the most simple antecedent intervention to increase that you are going to look something up in your book. And I know that I could speak for Danielle, who is tutoring tons of people a month. The biggest problem we see is that people are not reading their book.
Yes.
And this is a simple, right?
Well, yes, and I would say even for me, so I probably have almost 70% of the chapters memorized, but that's because of the tabs. So it's not just chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. It's telling you what is in that chapter, and that's what's really helpful because it is a quick reference. So it does help it make it easier and make you know where to look and what to read. So I would tell you from someone who used Post-it notes in her previous book, they get all wrinkled. These are definitely.
I still am a both. I still have a messy Post-it side and a clean tab side.
I know, but I have crumpled Post-it notes in my second edition, and I will tell you, they are worth the purchase, 100%.
I agree. I think it's probably the best product we've made at Snappa. And actually probably one of the most complicated. When we were trying to talk to China about no, each one needs to be different, this and that, it was very complicated, but worth it. All right. Now, to all my people who love school supplies, art supplies, pens, paper, all that stuff, you're going to be very happy with what I'm about to tell you. I give you permission to buy all the pens, paper, stickers, glitter, anything that you need to make your notes fun, exciting, stick out, okay? Because you are going to create your notes into an actual piece of art. You want it to be God forbid your house was on fire, you want to grab your Snappa notes to go because you're I put so much blood, sweat, and tears into that and glitter into that, right? So, by the way, for any of you guys who signed up for the collective, in any of the packages, I forget which packages, and you got the pairing pack with it, all the pens, the notebooks, the special, the stickers, the weekly planner, washi tape. Use this, take your notes. I know you guys also got the ultimate collective study notebook, right? To take your notes. It has the Cooper tracker in here. Use this if you're someone who wants to take messy notes in class, and then, I don't like that I can't. I hate this background thing. Maybe Danielle could, or someone could hold theirs up. But it has all the stickers in here, the ABC antecedent, pros, cons stickers, stimulus classes, everything that you need to take beautiful notes, and all the papers are different colors and thick, and they're all nice and thick because I'm obsessed with the thickness of paper and note taking. We don't cut any corners when it comes to school supplies, art supplies. Now, if you're someone and you are doing a drop-in or you're doing a video recording, you could buy one of these. Or I always say, if you're someone who buys the 10-cent notebook, buy the 25-cent one. If you're someone who buys the $1 one, buy the $3 5-star one, okay? Make it a little more special than you usually would buy so that you take pride in these notes and you're I'm going to do a good job on these. I'm going to make my handwriting a little better, right? That you're going to take pride in these notes. Okay. Now, my next tip for you guys is going to be to download the Snappa app for the test content outline tracking. Okay, so if you go to Android, the Google App Store, I think is what it's called, right? Or the Apple App Store, download the Snappa app. You'll see the Pavlov, Pavlov's the name of my dog, and also the entire mascot of all study notes. there is, just with the free version of the app, you could use the task list checkoff, or you could check off each item on the task list as we cover it. And at the end of each class, we'll be like, okay, tonight we covered B9, B11, C3. So you could keep track of whatever you've covered to make sure that by the end of your studying, you've gone through every item. If you want, you do not have to. If you decide that you want to like actually pay for the app, there's weekly study groups in there with Danielle going through on Tuesdays and Saturdays, with other people studying for the exam. There's thousands of questions. You could play games. You could choose your reinforcer, your schedule of reinforcement. What do you want for your reinforcer? Do you want to pop Skinner's pimples? Do you want to fill up a glass of wine? There's lots of grow a plant. You choose. But this is all there. It also creates a study outline for you when you put in how many days you have till you test. But I do say, get this, whether you want to buy it or not. Use the free part of it to do a task list checkoff. Now I am going to tell you this for anyone who's like, the book is so expensive. Look like you need to buy it right now, and you need to keep this. Do not be scared to mark the F out of your book, okay? This is actually my 2nd edition Cooper book. Over here you can see, which is so funny. It looks like so easy to text compared to what it is now. Like from when I was studying, that was my book. And you want to commit to this book so much that we have a Cooper decorating contest. And what is that? You are going to take your Cooper book and you are going to decorate the cover of it. The Cooper contest your Cooper book is due January 19th. If you want to be a part of this contest, and you'd submit it by tagging us on Instagram, send it a DM, or post it and tag at Study Notes ABA. They'll all be entered in the contest, and there is a $50 gift card giveaway. So save that date, January 19th. We've seen really cool covers. Don't be scared to put like fur, Christmas lights, rhinestones, stickers, things that like motivate you. You know, like the hot guy from the Housemaid movie who was hot until he turned out to be psycho. That's a different story. Whoever saw that movie, what the fuck. There you go. Okay. So we'll be looking for that. Sorry, I have to eat a gusher. All right. Next, I'm going to tell you this tip, and it's to find a study buddy. You are going to be, once you start seeing things through a behavioral angle, you will never unsee it. Okay? So like when you're going to start seeing things behaviorally, this is how you'll always see it. And you're going to want to talk to your significant other about it, your friends, and they might start thinking you're annoying, which is fine. But no one's going to want to talk to you about it as much as someone else studying for the same exam. So once you join the collective, in your syllabus, you see there's a link to join the Facebook group. And this is what the image looks like for this semester's one. So if you're having trouble finding the group on Facebook, look for this image. There's always a BCBA in there moderating. Jessica's in there all the time. Any questions you have, you could put it in there. Looking for someone to study with, I would go in there, I'd post being like, hey, I live in Dallas. I only have time to study in the morning. Anyone interested? That doesn't mean someone has to live in Dallas, right? We know how FaceTime and Zoom and all that works. You could find someone.
I was going to say, I'm so sorry. When you guys request access to the Facebook group, by the end of the week, I will have time zone groups together as an individual post. So we'll have like an Eastern Standard, Central Standard, or whatever, so you guys can see who's in your time zone. So if you guys request access to the Facebook group and I let you in, there's already a welcome post asking for you to do that, please.
Perfect. Also, just make sure that you are putting in your order number so that we let you in the group. We do that to keep out creeps. Okay. Also, inside of when you're in your account, look for the tab called the Extra Resources tab. That tab has a F ton of resources, both free and paid. If you came to like an IOA class and you're like, I still need some extra help on it, there'll be a whole section of free listed, all of our free IOA resources that may be helpful. Whether it's a YouTube or a Behavior Bitches episode or something we've done or a free class, all there. If there's related like paid materials that might help you, it's also there. So these are all things for you to choose from and a shit ton of free stuff. So take advantage of that. Questions. I'm going to let Danielle talk about this part while I drink water really quickly.
Okay.
I'm like out of breath.
All right. So in class, right, there's going to be times that you have questions, and there's always going to be 2 BCBAs in class. Sometimes it's me and Liat, sometimes it's me and Jessica, sometimes it's Liat and Jessica, sometimes it's Kira and Jessica. So if you have a question, write it down on the Post-it note, because I guarantee you someone else also has the same question. You can send your questions to the co-teacher. So we'll always tell at the beginning of class, you'll know whoever is directly teaching, it's really difficult to answer things in the chat, so you'll send them to your co-teacher. And what we like to do is copy them down and then answer them at the end of class so that everyone can hear them, and that way people aren't distracted by the chat. So we 100% will answer all of your questions. It may just not be in that moment, because what we really want you to take away is what we're teaching you in class, and that you got your question out, but know that we're going to circle back to it at the end of class and give you the time to ask another question, or if we need to clarify and provide additional examples. So we will 100% answer your questions, but we also want you to be with the content also.
Beautiful. Okay. Thanks, Danielle.
You're welcome.
Okay, so here's your supply list for each class. You're going to need your laptop that you could be Zooming us, okay? You need your ethics book nearby. You need your Cooper book open to whatever page we're studying. You need pretty pens, more pretty pens, maybe scissors, because you might be cutting out some handouts that we've put if you need to like glue some graphs in there or something. Post-its, pens, a candle, set the vibe. You want stimulus control, like when the candle's on, I'm studying kind of vibe. You can see there's a pairing pack here. LOL, I put my Adderall. Kidding, but not really kidding. Really mean it. Depends on what you're on. Whatever you need to study, you keep close by, okay? And Jordan comes here even with a cough drop. See, she knows the MO. She's a BCBA. That's right. So whatever it is you need, you set up your study area. Make it an area that you're like, oh, I'm actually excited to go here. Okay? Like not in your bed. And if you're someone, you got to like put a desk in your closet to make that space, make it. Block this time out for yourself twice a week. That you know, like if life gets crazy every other part, you at least know you're in class for these 2 times a week. Cool? All right. Also, I'm someone who like loves the aesthetic of like different notebooks nearby, like a pen cup, you know, all of it makes me excited. Oh, also this. Notice what that is? That is a printed out copy of the task list. I forgot to label it, but I'm sorry, the test content outline. You need to have a copy of that nearby to cross off. That is the same thing that you'll be crossing off on the app, but I don't know. If you're someone who likes to physically cross things off, there you go. Oh, also wine and coffee, but you don't have to have wine. You could choose your drink of choice. We'll let you choose. What is going to happen after each class? After each class, you will have a knowledge check. That will be in your account, and that is going to be about 5 questions for you to answer after class to see, like they're going to be like mock exam questions. Can you answer them? Did you comprehend the concepts enough to be able to answer them? There will be detailed feedback on each question. So that, and you should always read the feedback. This is when you're taking mocks or anything, because that feedback is going to tell you what you should be doing more of and what you should not do. Again, all right? That's how we learn. You want to complete your homework. Your homework is not something that we are going to be grading, but your homework is for you. It's in your account, and it has, you know, fill in the blanks, matching, multiple choice. Yep, Danielle?
It's just a good way to test your knowledge in a way that's not a multiple choice question, right? So filling in the blank is really hard, or matching things, or I'm trying to think about, I know the word, but I can see it. Like you're drawing lines to concepts that match. Like that is a really solid way to test yourself, because there's no other hints, right? So like in a mock question, you can kind of be like, okay, I can eliminate these things. But in the homework and you're filling in the blank, or you're answering this question and saying, okay, this is the hashtag for this, you don't have any extra help. So it is a really great resource to help you with your fluency of the knowledge that you're going to get from class.
Beautiful. Now, inside of your account, you will see you also have ethics modules where we have recorded on all of the sections of the ethics code. There'll be assignments, different classes for you to watch those and complete the assigned readings. That's going to be your Cooper and ethics readings. All right. You'll get in the flow of it. In the beginning, it feels like a lot, but you will get in the flow and be like, and you'll start trusting the process more and being like, oh, okay, I get it. They will actually explain all this stuff I'm reading in class. Every class, we're going to have this slide. I always say it's like the playbill of going to a show, and it's the setting expectations. So tonight, we're actually going to get into actual class. So you're going to learn something even tonight on syllabus day. We're going to be talking about the 3 levels of scientific understanding and the attitudes and assumptions of science. So you'll leave class knowing all about that. We always put this friendly reminder, and it's a friendly reminder not to steal our shit. Please disseminate it. Talk about how much you love SNABA. Talk about the science. Talk about how you see these examples in your everyday life. But please do not go. It's actually crazy we have to say it, but like there are so many other accounts that are like, oh, we're study notes, or they even don't even call themselves study notes ABA, but they literally post everything with our logo. It's weird. Don't do that. It's weird. We know ethics, right? Cool. Okay. Now for our tip of the day. We will always have a tip of the day and a motivation of the day. And our tip of the day is find your why. I'll talk more about that after. But the motivation of the day is ready's not a feeling, it's a decision. And I totally agree with that in any area of your life. Okay? Whether it's a relationship you're in, you're like, it never seems like a good time to break up. Or it's about getting started studying, or you want to start training for a marathon, or you want to be like, I don't know if we want to like think about having kids. Like, I'll tell you that, and be like, it's never a good time for any of these things. But it's always a good time. Okay? So you're just like, I'm making a decision for X, and I'm going to make it work. Okay? That is the motivation of the day. And finding your why. And now, with this tip of finding your why it's so important is because right now you're excited, it's novel, you're new to the class, and you are like, oh, this seems so fun, I'm excited, this is new, it's exciting. There's going to be days when there's something more fun going on. Okay? So you need to have a really strong why, like why the fuck you're doing this, why you're showing up, why you're putting this many hours in, because that is what needs to pull you on the days that you don't really feel like studying. Okay? So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my why, also about who I am. And this is the first time we have these cool slides, and I'm very excited. Okay? Story time. That's a TikTok trend, right? Story time. All right. So, I always dreamed of being a special education teacher. Like, that was my dream since the youngest age. I would teach anyone who would listen. I have a brother with autism, and so I wanted to be a special ed teacher, but when he was diagnosed with autism, I was like, okay, I'll do special education. I had that plan. I went to school for special ed. My junior year of college, I got really, really sick and woke up one day unable to move. Didn't know what was going on. Found out I was diagnosed with lupus. For anyone who doesn't know, it's not an STD, it's an autoimmune disease where your immune system attacks itself. And I spent a lot of time in the hospital, like very, very sick. And so I was like, okay, I barely got through school, but then that's why I was like, you know what, I don't give a shit. I'm going to go. I'm going to finish this degree. I started teaching as a special ed teacher. I lasted like 2 weeks. into the actual school year because I was catching everything that the kids had in the classroom because I was on drugs to suppress my immune system. So I'm like, okay, time to pivot. Maybe I'll do ABA. My program at University of Maryland, go Terps, anyone, was very behavior based. But I think if I do ABA, it's better. It's more one-on-one. I could, like, I'm not going to catch everything the kids have because it's, like I could, just whatever. That's what I thought. So I'm like, all right. So I had to leave my job as a special ed teacher. I'm feeling like really not cool that I can't hold a job. All my friends have jobs. So then I'm like collecting my hours slowly. It's taking me forever to collect my hours because I couldn't work full time and I was always in and out of hospital. Finally, I finished my hours and I had gone home for the Jewish holidays for a weekend and what the heck? I had gone home for the Jewish holidays and I was not feeling well. They took me into the hospital. They said her gallbladder needs to come out. They took my gallbladder out and my entire life changed after that. Why? Because I came out of the surgery with very itchy hands, and that was the start of me losing 3 of my fingers. I mean, they were able to save the rest of my extremities and my limbs, but I had severe pain, and I watched my fingers literally decomposing in front of me. Finger 1, finger 2, and finger 3. 2 pinkies and the middle finger. Middle finger most important. Pinkies I'm fine without. But I was in an amount of pain that I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I'm like a fishing wire getting tighter and tighter. Okay? So at this point, I'm flown up to a hospital and I'm inpatient for 3.5 months. I have people wiping my ass, dressing me. I remember just being like, all I want was to like be able to have a job. And I just was like, I felt like, honestly, truly, if I could have taken my own life, if my hands worked, I think I really would have. Not to get too dark, but thank God my hands didn't work. I just felt like I was done. And so at this point, I'm on so many pain meds in the hospital. Very, like my brain is fried, but I kept being like, I gotta take this test. Or like, dude, you can't even remember like a 2-number sequence. Forget this test. Let's just get you healthy. Eventually they amputated 3 fingers. They saw the damage wasn't going any further. And I had these open wounds and I was like, I have to make something of myself. At this point, I am 27 years old. Like, I'm not giving up on life. I had not been able to hold a job before that. I was like, I'm going to make something of myself. So at that point, I had moved back home with my parents, feeling really not cool. I was in OT, relearning to use my hands. And the bigger problem was I was going to study for this test, but I was no longer allowed to take my ADHD meds, which I've been on since 4th grade, because they were worried for my circulation, for the healing of these open wounds on my hands. So I'm like, how the fuck am I going to pass this test? So every day I would go sit at a bubble tea shop. I wasn't working a job. I still had people dressing me and whatever, I'd go from OT, like learning to hold pens and pick up marbles, to sitting at a bubble tea shop and like practicing writing my notes, because I always loved like penmanship and colors. So I started making these notes, and obviously, like everyone else, distracted on Instagram, I started being like, I'm going to make an Instagram account just for my notes, for me to see visually in one place. I told you I love the whole aesthetic thing, right? So I started this account for me, not for any business perspective, and it was called Study Notes ABA, because it was my notes. Not very clever. And what happened is people started following, and I was like, I got to make this shit really fucking interesting if I'm going to remember it. So sure enough, I did. I had like buttholes in my notes, like sex, drugs, funny ways to remember things. And people started following it. And so when I passed the test, I posted like, I passed the test. And I had this thing, and I was like, if I could pass this test, I could get anyone to pass this fucking test. Like with my fingers coming off and like no ADD meds, I can help anyone pass this test. And so I started teaching classes for free. I was just like, I wasn't trying to do a business. I just always wanted to be a teacher, and this was my opportunity that people would listen, right? So I started teaching these classes. I'd be like, get on at this time, and then at the 45-minute mark, we log off and get back on because it was all free. And people started passing, and more people were like coming on. And then I was like, I had got a job as a clinician. And I found myself anytime I was like, I just want to be like making funny examples and making teaching videos and whatever it is. So I decided to take the leap one day, which was scary, especially when you really need health insurance. And I was like, I'm going to go all in on this. And I decided I'm going to do this. So classes used to be $5. Sorry, we're not there anymore, but our quality has gotten much better. It's like, send me $5, I'll give you the Zoom link. Okay. And that's how it started. And now we have helped thousands of students pass the exam. It's really insane. I could not have imagined this for myself. If I would have been like, Leah, what do you want? I would have said, I just want to make $50,000 being a special ed teacher. So like this, for anyone who hears this, I want you to know, like whatever you are going through right now is not your forever. And there could be something way bigger there for you than what you realize. And if you have a struggle, if you have a health issue, I still am in the hospital regularly. Like you could catch me in the ER on the reg, in and out, different problems. You can do this, whatever your thing is. And I'm telling you, SNABA not only has been the biggest blessing for me as someone who lost my ability to do so many things because of my health. SNABA literally is a personified version of all the things that I still can do. Like it's colors, it's comedy, it's fun, it's motivational, it's exciting, it's people. And that's everything SNABA is. So the fact that you guys come here, like you don't understand what a blessing it is to me as well, that you guys are here. So that's a little bit about SNABA, and that's my why. So my why now has shifted. My why then was like, I have to make something of myself. I'm 27, I'm not done with life. But now my why is like, I have to help other people pass this test. Like, if I could do this, I get anyone to do it. And I literally like get off to it. I could tell you, Danielle as well. Like when you hear someone that you're working with pass, it's like, fuck yeah. Right? Yes. We want you on our side. So with that, and I'm so proud, Julia, I have to tell you, props. The storybook thing you made is incredible. I'm like obsessed with it. It's looking very cute. So that's that. And by the way, so I'm everyone has a different why. And before I continue, I'm not going to do everyone who's here's why. I'm just going to give Danielle's. I'm going to have Danielle give her why, and then we're going to move on into class. But just to know that not everyone, you don't have to lose fingers for it to be enough for it to be a why. All right? That's just like wild happens. I don't even know. At the time, I always say, like, God had a bigger plan. He was like, listen, it's going to cost you a few fingers, but I got something way bigger for you than that other job. So you never know what's going on. And with that, Danielle, take it away.
Okay, so my why, which has kind of evolved, but from where it started, so somebody mentioned like, oh, I feel like it's taking me forever to get my hours. I feel you. So I used to be a special education teacher for kids on the spectrum, which is my jam of jams here, hence why I'm here. I get to be a different type of teacher. So I was a teacher in a classroom and I had a BCBA come in and they were like, we're going to do this. And I was like, that's dumb. That's dumb. We're not going to do that. She's like, we're going to do it. And then it worked. And I was like, this is magic. What is this? And so I decided to go back and get my master's. And where it starts is that I was 1,375 hours in to my 1,500 hours. So I was almost done. And I was sitting at a conference with my BCBA and she went, and I was like, you good? And so what had happened is back in the day, because I'm old, you had to watch a video that was 8 minutes about supervision before you could start your supervision. And I didn't because she didn't have me watch it. And so the board said, sorry, none of your hours count. Well, when you work in public school, it's really difficult to get hours. So that was almost 2 years worth of hours that they said, hey, by the way, you can't use those. So I took a big deep breath and I started again and I got almost to the end again. And they came out in a newsletter and said, oh, by the way, you don't have to watch this video again. And I was like, okay. So then I emailed them and they're like, oh my gosh, sure, you can use those hours that you already had. And I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. So 4 years later, for supervision hours, double the amount, I started studying for my test. So I proudly sit here as your multiple time test taker. And I know Jessica is also, but no offense, Jessica, I was the first one. Sorry.
No offense. I was the first one to fail first.
I always tell people I am really good at failing this test. So if you're really good at failing this test, come sit over here with me. So I did some other study prep. I failed my test with a 397 on my third time. And so then I found SNABA, and then I passed my test.
I've
on
never
my
heard you
fourth-
say it without being like, that's a real slap in the dick.
Well, it is. I was trying to behave. I don't.
I know. I just feel like that's like
You
the most.
told them right there.
That
Oh.
line is just so you. Is like right there. It's like, and that's a real slap in the dick.
It was a real punch in. It was like a big punch in the dick, right? Like it sucks. It was so sucky, and so I was really pissed. I took a 2.5 month break because I was so mad because I had a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and all of my extra time was going to this. So on top of that, I had all of the mom guilt, and then I was working a full-time job, and so I took a 2.5 month break because I was really angry, and then I found SNABA, and I passed in February of 2020, and then COVID happened, so I didn't even get to celebrate. It was a solid bummer. But in that process of things that were very difficult and having to do things multiple times, I have what is now almost a 14-year-old daughter, and for me at the time, my why was to show her that we can do hard things, because she had watched me do all the work and then cry, and then do all the work and then cry, and then do all the work and then cry. And by the third time she was committed, I still have like this on my desk. She drew it for me when I was studying, and she has made me all these little bookmarks. But for me as a mom, it was really important for me to show my daughter, especially, that we can do hard things, because that was really hard. It was really hard. And since we're throwing shade and you threw shade at AJ, I'm going to throw shade at my ex-husband. So when I didn't pass my third time, my wonderful ex-husband said, just quit. I don't know why you keep doing this. It's hard. Just quit. And I was
she
like,
divorced him for saying that.
I did not divorce him for that. It's one of the reasons, but I was like, ew, no, like, that's not okay. That's not what we say. And so, I was like, well, I'm going to pass this test, and I put in the work. And so, but for me at the time, my why was to really make sure that my daughter saw that you pick yourself up, and it doesn't matter how difficult it is and how hard you cry, you can do hard things. And I'm going to be really honest with you. It has absolutely come in handy when you have a teenager, that you can do hard things, especially when you have kids and you're going through a divorce, and I have to remind them that they can do hard things. So that was my why. So I am here as your multiple time test taker. So is Jessica. But
I was first.
I was first. I was first at failing, Jessica. Sorry. So, but that's my why, for why I'm here for you guys, and why I'm here at SNABA.
Thanks
I
for
may have hustled Liat on some tutoring. So I did strong arm you on some tutoring. Slid into your deep.
That's true. If you come on strong, you might be working at SNABA too. You never know. Danielle, by the way, first class, like, I'm gonna be the next behavior bitch. It's like, all right.
You said it. You asked. Don't put it on me like I said that out loud. You said, who's gonna be the next behavior bitch? And I was like, me. I am. So
Amazing. Okay, well, she is. So here she is, guys. You never know, okay? So keep going. All right, guys. That is the motivation we have for you. And you are going to be a part of all the times you need motivation. I mean, throughout our collective, I see people joining in everywhere here. And they're like, oh, I was in your 2020 collective. Or I was when your son, we didn't know if he was going to be alive in the NICU. And then when you got, oh, I remember your ex-husband before you got divorced. Like, you're going to be with us for all of it, okay? This is like a reality show you're watching. So our examples in class, we always are real, raw, and relatable. You'll know exactly what the fuck is going on in our life, all right? So buckle up, get ready, here we go. All right. Now it is time for you to write your why, okay? You have that piece of paper that came inside of your pairing pack or on the outside of it. And if you don't, it's in your account. You could go ahead and print it out online. Or you could take a piece of paper and just write why really big on it. And write your why, whatever it is. And you need to put it somewhere super effing visible. Somewhere that you're going to look and be like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing this. Okay? Cool. You guys ready to get started learning? You're pumped up? You ready? Okay. Me too. I'm feeling motivated. And those slides Julia made me feel like, ooh, yeah, ooh. Okay, here we go. So get your why. Make sure you put it somewhere. You could think about it. You don't need to have it this second, but you better have that done. All right, let's see how many pages of notes we have tonight. This is what we call a ghost note. It comes like this, and then we slowly bring it to life. Page 1, page 2. We have 2 pages of notes tonight that we are going to go through. And so get your pens out, get ready. You're going to take the notes with us. We are not going to lecture at you. You'll be taking it with us. Okay. The first page, and by the way, just a little intro. We are going to be talking about science as a whole, okay? So ABA is a science, but first it's most important to understand that what science is before we get into ABA even. We're starting like so zoomed out of understanding. So all sciences, whether we're talking about biology, chemistry, astrology, medicine, pharmacology, those are all different sciences. So is ABA, but all of those are going to have this in common. I talk about pharmacology a lot because I am super medicated and have major health issues. So you'll hear about that, but when you hear other people talking about this in their field, you're going to be able to relate. So let's go ahead and title our page The 3 Levels of Science. I'm going to use purple because it's Danielle's favorite color, and she was the first one to fail, so I'll do her first color.
I failed 3 times.
I keep thinking of like fail fast. I'm like, you did it fast. You know, they say fail fast or whatever.
It didn't because I had to wait the time. Like I had to wait.
Yeah, no one knows what that's like. That you have to wait for like quarters.
It's so terrible. It's so because you had to take your test and then they were like, hey, you got a 45-day window for us to tell you your results, which is ridiculous. So then you were like in this limbo of like, do I study? Do I not study? What do I do? And then like you're checking your account all the time. It was awful. It was awful.
Yep, you guys will get your results immediately. Lucky everyone. Okay, so it takes me a minute to get into my color zone. Just give me a hot sec. You know, there's real skill in teaching, talking, choosing colors at once. So we're talking about science, and the 3 levels of science are, well, let's talk about first. See, it takes me a second to get into it. I'll get cooler in a minute. We're going to talk about the goal of science. What is the goal of all sciences? To achieve a thorough understanding of the phenomena under study. All right, who in the chat could put what page number we're on? Anyone? Page 3. Is Priya right?
Yes, I think she is.
She is. Priya just won something. Make sure one of the BCBAs in here take care of her.
That's pretty legit.
That's hot. I love that. Oh, perfect. Christina Proctor's in here. She's a BCBA who passed with us, and she decided to join the collective. Christina, welcome back. All right. So, here we go. Let's go ahead and draw a 3-tiered cake. Okay? It could be a wedding cake if you're all, like, happy in that stage of life. It could be a birthday cake. It could be a divorce cake. I mean, do what you want. We support you. Okay, so you're going to make the 3 levels. So crazy how like getting back in the flow of choosing colors is really a thing. Oftentimes we'll have you like set the page up ahead of time just to like get it ready before we start taking notes. Okay. Swing, swing, swing. It's because the 3 leveled, I did 3 candles. Okay? Here we go. So we're going to go ahead and label the 3 levels of science. Okay. The first level of science is description, okay? And this is the least specific of the 3 levels of science. Description. Okay. This is the bottom of the cake. This is just what we see objectively. So like this is when you're in science, you're like saying what you see objectively. Like how many times I swear during class, or how many times Danielle says fuck, or how many times the student dropped to the floor, or how long someone lasted during sex, okay? These are objective measurements. They're not like, I think he's mad because of this. It's none of that. It's just like, these are straight up the facts, okay? This is what we could see objectively. So let's go ahead and by the way, we use hashtags in Study Notes ABA, like hashtag to be like, these are AKAs, right? So like reinforcement, hashtag something is, or I guess positive reinforcement, hashtag something added, hashtag increase behavior, hashtag increase frequency, right? So that's how we're going to use it. So description, hashtag describe accurately, hashtag collection of facts, hashtag observed event, hashtag suggest possible hypothesis. What does this mean? This means we can't say for sure why anything is happening at all, but we'll be like, oh, interesting. We see this behavior happening X amount of times, right? I can't prove anything. I can't tell you like it's happening repeatedly. I'm just saying like, this is what I'm seeing happen, okay? And this is when we have quantified data, okay? And it is objective. All right. So that is description. Anything else I want to put in here? Think data collection, ABC recording. It's what you see. It's objective, observable, measurable. I'll put that. Good?
Mm-hmm. Truly just what you see.
Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to go up going to climb up to the next level of the cake. And we are at prediction. Prediction is, we'll have to write it out first. And by the way, guys, just don't want to toot my own horn, or any of our horns, really, whoever teaching. If you're in class and suddenly something makes sense to you that you like might have learned in grad school or something, and you're like, holy shit, I get it. Please put light bulbs in the chat. We live for that. Okay? So if something makes sense. I don't expect you to have anything light bulbs yet, but this is just like foreplay for when you get there. Great. Okay. So now we're talking prediction. Okay? Prediction is the second level of scientific understanding. This is going to be, write it with me and then we'll talk. Okay? This is when we have repeated observations reveal that two events, hashtag consistently, hashtag, this is a big word, but you need to know it. Whenever you think of prediction, you need to think of covary with each other. Okay? This is when we say correlation, but not, I might have spelled that wrong, but I like to train loosely. Correlation, but not causation. Okay? So what is that? That's when we talk about something like, you know, we talk about the college 15, right? The freshman 15, right? You could be like, when you're a freshman in college, you're more likely to gain 15 pounds, right? Okay. But it's not that could be a correlation, right? Like your freshman year of college, you're out late more, you're drinking, you're stoned, you have the munchies, whatever it is. But that's not causation, right? We can't say it is the cause. Like as soon as you sign up for college, 15 pounds adds to your body, right? That would be causation. We're saying there is some correlation, there's something going on here. or like when I get a notification during the work, like while I'm working, it's more likely I'll stop doing what I'm doing, right? Yes, Danielle.
Well, I was going to say, when you're thinking about prediction, right, you are thinking about that pattern, but you haven't manipulated any intervention yet, right? So when I think about prediction, I always think, okay, birds fly south for the winter. We know that is going to happen, right? There is that repeated observation. And so, but nothing has been manipulated, but we can say during these months, I know birds will fly south for the winter because we have seen this repeated pattern. So when you're thinking about it, like at work, you don't know the function yet, but you can say, hey, I know when I give Jessica, or when Jessica gets math, she's going to engage in physical aggression. I've seen that repeatedly, or that's the data that's being presented to me, but nothing has been manipulated yet. And you don't know the function, you just know that there is a clear pattern happening. So you can predict that when math comes up, Jessica's going to have problem behavior.
Perfect. Thank you. Exactly. So we can't say for sure. They're like, okay, there's definitely some kind of pattern here, right? So I put here, there is no variable manipulated yet. Right? We're just seeing something repeatedly. And something we're going to write here, and we'll definitely talk more about it in the future class, is hashtag, it helps us predict conditional probability. So we use this when we're talking about, like, when we're looking at, like, maybe ABC data, right? Let's say we took ABC data and we're like, oh, wow, it seems like 6 out of these 10 instances of the behavior seem to be escape maintained, right? So that's like, okay, so I said 6, right? So 6 out of 10, that means like the conditional probability is, we'd say 0.6, right? Because it's like 60%, but you actually turn it into a decimal. We'll talk way more about it later. But being like, that's a high likelihood, that's it. I can't say for sure that this behavior is, the function of it is escape, but it seems very likely. But now, if I want to prove that the function is escape, or I want to prove why someone is doing something, that is going to be control. Okay? So now we are moving on up. We are moving to control. All right? And control is the highest level of scientific understanding. And this is when we have, this is the ability to predict with a certain degree of confidence. Why is the word predict in there? Well, control means we are actually manipulating variables, right? The whole idea, and why a lot of us, let's be real, decided to get into the field of ABA is a lot of us are control freaks, right? We're in here because we want to be controlling something. But also, by the way, that's our purpose, is like, we want to know what's controlling behavior. So what do we need to do to control it? What do we need to do to stop the behavior? What do we need to do to increase the behavior, right? That's control. So we manipulate different variables to see if the behavior changes. And if it does repeatedly change, we're like, oh, I know what's controlling this behavior. Watch this. Every single time that I take away his iPad, he cries. Watch. I'll do it again. You can literally control it. You're like, iPad taken away. Wah, wah, right? Put it back. They stop. iPad taken away. Wah, wah. That is straight up showing control. You're like, I am the one controlling this behavior. I'm the head bitch in charge here. Like, watch. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Right? Oh, my boyfriend never responds to me. He never responds to me. But you know what? I could take it to control. Watch this. I'm late on my period. I think I'm pregnant. I get a response like that. That's control. I could do it every time and it works. I'm controlling the behavior. Okay? So, control means we can manipulate variables. Hashtag manipulate variables. Okay? So let's say, starting with description, it's like, my boyfriend responds to me on average a latency of 9 hours. Okay? That's describing. I'm describing exactly what happened. Okay? Then prediction. I could say when X happens, Y happens. So like usually when I send him like a sexy picture or something, like he'll respond, but like not whatever. But now I'm like, for the highest level of control, watch this. I'm going to control his behavior. I send the I'm pregnant text, I get a response, right? That is control, the highest level. This is when we can actually say causation. Like we know what causes something, right? Danielle, do you want to add something here?
Yeah, so when you're thinking about this is your functional relation, right? So description is I'm going in and I'm doing an observation saying, okay, this is what the problem behavior looks like. Prediction is I can predict, right, that this is going to happen because I'm taking data, but I haven't analyzed anything yet. So when I analyze things and I determine that this is the function, right, I can say, okay, now I can say that Jessica is getting out of her math work to escape. So what we can do, right, when you talked about manipulating variables, what we can do is hold the demand, not hold the demand. And we can look at what the behavior is doing and we can turn the behavior on and off to confirm the function. So when you're thinking control, you're thinking manipulation and you're thinking, I know the why of this behavior now because I know the function.
Perfect. Exactly. So this is the most valuable and useful result of science, okay? So this control level, this is the most valuable and useful result of science, okay? This is like, and I always think of everything having to do with meds, right? It could be like description. Liat was on task for 3 minutes of the entire day, right? Whatever you consider on task. Prediction. Wow, it seems like when she has, when she has like distractors removed that she's getting more things done. We can't say. But then it's like control. Watch this. I'm telling you, this Adderall works for her. I'm going to give her an Adderall. Watch this. Her productivity just increased by this. Watch this. I'll do it again, right? We show it as many times. I'm actually controlling the behavior. We're seeing that, right? So this means this is all connected, okay? The goal is for us to see what causes what in general, right? So description, what happened? Prediction, when X happens, Y happens. Control, that's when you say, I can make Y change by changing X. In case you missed that, I'll say it again. Description is what happened. Prediction is when X happens, Y happens. Like I'm seeing some sort of patterns there, right? But control is saying, I can make Y change by doing X. Okay? Great. So now, guys, we made it through our first page of notes. How are we doing? We hanging in there? Good? Okay, we only have one more page left. We're great. Okay, amazing.
We got lots of head nods.
Great, I'm feeling good. This is what Kobe does these days when he's like feeling himself. Okay, here we go. That's my 4-year-old son. It's so sad. He feels so cool. I'm like, it's so nerdy, but he feels so hot. All right. Now we're talking about the attitudes and the assumptions of science. So we're still talking about science as a whole. We're not talking about ABA specifically yet, but all this applies to ABA because ABA is a science. So let's go ahead and label this one. I want to know what Carolyn's favorite color is. Carolyn, what's your favorite color? From Puerto Rico in Miami. You're not, you're muted. So now I don't know your favorite color.
Purple.
You're the same as Danielle? Okay. I guess we'll do purple again, everyone. Okay, here we go.
A different shade of purple.
Yeah, I'll change it. We'll go a little lighter, okay? You guys did thank Carolyn that you have purple twice. Here we go. We're going to talk about the attitudes. And by the way, you'll get really good at making your notes fit. I'll also give you handwriting tips to make your handwriting look better. Thin and long is a great tip. Okay, you're going to write attitudes and assumptions of science. The attitudes and the assumptions of science. So Okay. Big fan of the clouds. Okay, we're talking about the attitudes and the assumptions of science. Okay, this means that all sciences are leading with these thoughts, and these are the assumptions we have as scientists if we're leading from a scientific lens. Okay, and the way that we're going to remember this one is, well, when I was in school and I was passing a note to one of my best friends. Okay, my best friend, and I passed a note to her, and she's like, you know, like when I, like, trust me, if you could see my study notes, you can imagine what my notes to my friends in class looked like. And, like, when I'd sign their yearbooks, it was way more than hags. It was, like, full on, like, open it up. It'd be a full, like, display of paper. But anyway, so I'd write a note. But then I got one note from my friend, and I'm like, what? I didn't understand what it said. You know, it was like, oh, my God, I heard you're dating Ben. Did you hook up with him? Blah, blah, blah. Then the end of the note said, whoa. The end of the note said, P.S. Dear PP. And I'm like, WTF? What? Like, I'm trying to read her note, and I'm like, what? Because, like, I didn't understand that part of the note. She's, like, pointing out the window. And I'm like, I don't get it. Then the teacher comes and, like, picks the note up. And then she picks the note up, the teacher, and she's like, oh, would you like to share this with the class? And she reads the part. She's like, so apparently Liat hooked up with Ben, and P.S. Dear PP. And I was like, I was obviously so embarrassed because I need everyone to know I hooked up with Ben. But my friend, like, pointed out the window, right? And there's out there on the playground, on, like, the actual, like, merry-go-round that we used to have before, like, you get in trouble for, like, getting injured on them. There's, like, this deer outside the window with so much attitude, just taking a straight-up piss on the merry-go-round, okay? So that's how you're going to remember this one. That deer had so much attitude, okay? And it's P.S. Dear PP. Okay, so when you need to remember the attitudes of science, it's P.S. Dear PP, and you're going to visualize that deer taking a PP piss on the thing, and the teacher reading my note out loud. So embarrassing. Okay, now we are going to talk about what these stand for. Okay, I want to go ahead and write them all out first, set the page up, and then we're going to go ahead and break them down. Okay, so the first P we have is the P is for pragmatism. Then we have S is for selectionism. Next up, we have D for determinism. I was never a cheerleader, as you could tell why. I also always had, like, such a deep voice that, like, I was, like, so jealous of the girls who could scream, like, high-pitched cheerleading stuff. Okay, next, empiricism. Next up, we have E for experimentation. And I'm sure someone in the chat is following along in the book where this is. And I'm sure they're on the right page, like me on page 4, 5. Good. Whoever the first one to respond was, let's get them something. Now we're on R for replication. Now we got our last PPs, and those stand for, the first P is for parsimony. And the second P is for philosophic doubt. So get your page set up. Make sure you have all this on it. I'm doing a stretch to prep for this next section. Ooh, You're allowed to stretch too. I won't be mad. Take a sip of wine. Okay, so pragmatism is the first one we're going to talk about, okay? And pragmatism is, and we're going to write our hashtags and the ways I remember them, is when we talk about hashtag the most, you see this word prag? The most practical approach. So the most practical approach. Hashtag the intervention. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hashtag promotes effective action. Okay, so you should have hashtag practical approach, hashtag the intervention, and hashtag promotes effective action. What does this mean? This is when we're talking about having a practical approach to dealing with problems, okay? You know, there's some people who like to overcomplicate everything. This is when we're finding out what is true or what is right. What is the right way to approach something, okay? So I'll tell you, as someone with lupus, I remember the doctors first being like, okay, we're going to go ahead and put you on hydrochloroquine. We're going to add you on this biologic IV every month. We're going to add you on this vitamin. We're going to take you off all garlic out of your diet. We're going to do all this stuff, right? This whole entire thing. And it was like, it actually turns out I just needed this one medication, okay? That'd be the most pragmatic. Or someone who has a, I always think of the example of like someone who has, you know, maybe they have celiac and they have a gluten intolerance, right? And you're like, okay, so that's fine. Why don't you start taking vitamin B7, this, that, blah, 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 blah. Make sure that you are eating greens and this and that. Or it's like the most pragmatic approach to that, when the intervention would be like, just cut bread out, right? Why do we have to overcomplicate it? Literally just take bread out of your diet. That's it. All right. So we say the most practical way to handle behavior. And the way to remember pragmatism is that it has to do with the solution or the intervention you're providing.
Can I throw something in here?
Please throw away.
Okay, so if you're, I was just thinking about, right? If you were thinking about pragmatism, I want you to think about, okay, I know this person's function. I use kids a lot because I work in school, and so they're either my friends or they're kids. So you know this friend's function, right? So again, like we're talking about, a lot of times people overcomplicate things. So if I know that my friend's function is escape, I'm not going to go in and write this plan that's extra complicated. I'm going to say, hey, if this friend wants out of their work, we can give them choices. We can have them ask for a break. We can say, hey, I want less, right? We can teach them to say, no, I don't want to do that, right? That's the practical approach of like, I'm not writing a complicated intervention. I'm going to address this in a practical way, because when things are in a practical way, they're going to get implemented because they're not so complicated. So like, again, if I want attention, I'm going to teach you how to request attention. I'm going to teach you how to ask for a break. I'm going to teach you how to ask for something that's preferred. So when you're thinking about it in the scheme of teaching, you're teaching that skill in a practical way that's not complicated, that it's simple, and here is the intervention and the simple solution.
Perfect. And again, by the way, you're going to have enough work keeping you busy as BCBA that you're not like looking to like overcomplicate things. And neither are the parents or the teachers and ever. Like, hey, do this 30-step protocol when you could just do one thing. Okay? So there's that. That's pragmatism. Now I'm going to skip and go to parsimony next, because people confuse these two. So if you're not listening, listen up now. Great. Parsimony. Hashtag simplest theory. And how do I remember it goes with this? Because inside the word parsimony, we see SIM, like simple, okay? So simplest theory. And it's an explanation. I'm getting rid of this because everyone asks me that every time. So, parsimony is when we are giving the simplest explanation as to why something is happening, okay? So again, let's go back to this example of someone who's gluten intolerant, okay? Like, let's say they're like, oh my God, and someone is like on the floor crying, like in so much pain. You're like, they're crying because Mercury's in retrograde. That'd be Julia who works with us. Mercury's in retrograde, and their dog was purring kind of like a cat, and they took their meds earlier than usual today, and they also ate bread, and they also were on their period 2 days ago, and their hormone cycle, and blah 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 blah. Okay, all these things as to why they're on the floor crying, right? In pain because their stomach hurts. Okay? Parsimony would be like, they ate bread. That's the simplest explanation. They are gluten intolerant. We know that, okay? So instead of making all these like crazy explanations, and what this might look like is, I remember getting a client, and this kid, they'd be like, when we go in the grocery store, we have such a hard time with Teo. That wasn't his name. Don't worry. I get ethics, okay? We have such a hard time with Teo. We go into the grocery store and like literally it's hell. This kid, because he was like suffocated by the umbilical cord when he was young and like in the NICU for so long with the lights and the blue lights to like make sure he didn't get whatever, he has these tantrums in the store with the lighting and whatever it is, right? So they're giving me this like whole explanation, like blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, let me go see what's going on in the store. Right? I go into the store and I'm like, interesting. He's only crying at the checkout aisle. And what does the mom do? She gets him Skittles. Okay? Simplest explanation. He cried because he gets Skittles there. It doesn't have to be because he was twisted in his umbilical cord and he was upside down and born early and Mercury was in retrograde also. Right? It's a simple explanation. That's parsimony. Okay? So when we go for the simplest explanation of why someone is doing something, we don't need to overcomplicate it, right? Okay, so when we talk about parsimony, we're talking about the explanation of why something is happening. When we talk about pragmatism, we're like, what's the practical solution we could do to do something about this, right? So that's the difference there.
Do you want me to, can I?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So when you're thinking about, right, so I work in public school, and so I even actually had this conversation today about a student, and the teacher was like, well, he's dysregulated, and he's this, and he's that, and he's this, and I said, okay, well, does he, because we were talking about work, and she was like, he just doesn't want to do it, and I said, is it too hard? And she goes, well, maybe, and I said, okay, does he not want to do the work because it's too hard? And she was like, oh, well, maybe. And I was like, right, okay, great. So what we can do is X, Y, and Z, right? Which would be the pragmatism part. So here's the simplest solution. It's not that he doesn't want to, it's that the work is too hard and we're missing a skill. So then let's just teach him to ask for help or ask for a different assignment. So when you're thinking about that parsimony piece, it is that simplest piece. And then that pragmatism piece is that application of that simplest solution. Okay, let's take a practical approach and address this in a way that's not complicated.
Beautiful. Thank you. So you could see both of those next to each other. And we get that question a lot. So I hope you guys were listening for that. All right. Now we are going to go to, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going a little bit out of order, but because I think it's helpful. And I'm going to go to the last P on the page here, which is philosophic doubt. Okay. Now, remember I had this client who told me this whole reason why their kid tantrums in the grocery store, right? They say it as fact. Like, oh, he does this because he was born early, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to be a BCBA hole and be like, whoa, that sounds like a lot of stuff, right? Instead, I am going to like have healthy skepticism. That sounds interesting. Okay, right? The same way when you are a BCBA and you get handed a client that no one else could work with because they said this kid has 0 reinforcers, okay? If you have philosophic doubt, as any scientist should, this means you have a healthy skepticism. See that word doubt in there, right? So healthy skepticism is like when you're like, okay, I am questioning the truth. Question the quote unquote the quote-unquote truth. Then, hashtag bullshit detector. we need our scientists, our BCBAs, our doctors to have philosophic doubt, okay? Because otherwise, if we're just taking everything at face value, we're never going to see changes. So I'll tell you this initially. When my whole thing with my fingers happened, the first doctor was like, oh, this is just going to happen, you know, it just might happen some of your life. I'm like freaking the fuck out. I'm just going to be dropping fingers my entire life, right? So I finally get into this like top doctor at Hopkins, and he's like, has some philosophic doubt, and he like looks at it, he reads my medical records, and he's like, something's not right here. He's like, they neglected your medical records. They didn't give you the bear hug during surgery. They didn't cover your hands or warm them. They're like, this isn't typical. Yes, you have Raynaud's, you have poor circulation, but like, so he went in and questioned the truth of like, this is just part of my lupus condition of just dropping fingers, right? It takes someone doing that to get to where we need to be. How many people have been diagnosed with the wrong diagnosis or saying, oh, there's nothing wrong with you, right? Or you get the client and they have no reinforcers, so nothing's worked for them. Or this kid is just like, you know, attention is the function, right? So if you take it at face value, attention being the function, that means your behavior plan is going to put attention on extinction. But if they're not, like, you go and you have that philosophic doubt or question that truth, and you find out they don't give a shit about attention. In fact, the functions escape. So they're only too fucking happy when you withhold attention, right? So that's why I say you need to have that philosophic doubt. The same way when this mom told me this whole story about the lights and the NICU and the this and the that, I was like, of course I'm not going to be a BCBA hole and be like, that sounds nuts, lady, right? I'm like, oh, wow, interesting. So on I go see it, I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, let's see, right? That's philosophic doubt, a healthy skepticism, not an asshole. And by the way, I encourage that. If you come into this class and I teach something to you and you're like, that sounds so wrong, there's a nice way to ask the question. And or if you take one of our mocks, which by now we have repeatability, someone will take it. But when we put a new mock out there, we always like give people first and we're like, please, anything that you think could possibly be wrong, like bring it to us, right? You might be wrong, we might be wrong, but we reinforce that. So like if anyone ever found any mistakes in something, ask us the question. We're only too happy because that's how we detect human error, okay? All right, next up we have selectionism. Selectionism. We are now going in order, okay? That is going to be hashtag selection by consequences. And this is saying that anything that evolves is the result of consequences. So when we think of selectionism, a lot of us think of like Darwinism, right? Of being like, okay, so on a larger scale, and we'll talk more deeply about this, on a larger scale, the animals that had longer necks, like giraffes, they were able to reach the food, right? The tall trees that had the food. So not necessarily seeming like a consequence, but the long necks survived, right? Because also, screw all of you guys, teachers in here, because I'm so insecure about the way I say because to all of the SNAPA teachers in here who have like fucked me over. Every single time I say it, I hear myself say it. Okay? Like, apparently I say it wrong.
Because.
But you don't say it wrong. It's just that you say because. And there's like a P in it.
Very like Jersey Jewish.
Oh, no, that's because. I'm saying because. I'm saying because. It's actually South African, okay?
It's just your Jewish grandma.
Okay, so.
Nothing wrong with it. It's okay. We love that about it.
I know, but I hear every time now. I'm like, ugh. Okay, so. Well, it's just that I'm explaining a lot of why because things happen.
Exactly.
All right.
It's important. It's the delivery.
So, selectionism is, for example, like those necks served those giraffes. They lived. The other shorties, they all died off. And so the long ones lived. They all made more babies. And now, so those essential consequences survived. But talking on a more like everyday selectionism, it's about when I tell the jokes that you guys laugh at, I'm telling that shit again. That joke is going to survive. We always are updating our collectives. The examples that you guys are like, ha ha ha, Leah, Danielle, you're so fucking funny. We do that shit again. The ones that you guys are like, ha ha ha, you're not funny. That seems not politically correct. We're like, get over it. No, I'm kidding. We're like, okay, they're mad. Okay. We'll do lots of that, right? That's how it works. When someone compliments me on an outfit I wear, I'm more likely to wear it again, right? There we go. So now, that's selectionism. Got it? So it happens on like a micro level. Like, I'm not going to stick my finger in the outlet again. I got shocked, punished. Or on a bigger level of like, I'm going to keep having a long neck. Well, you don't really choose it, but it's just choosing itself because you're surviving. Got it? Okay, now. No one knows a workout until they've taught a collective with such excitement and like being out of breath like this. Okay, so now we have determinism. Determinism is hashtag the world is lawful. Nothing happens out of nowhere, okay? This is an orderly place. That shit didn't just end up on your plate. Like, it's like, by the way, this is like classic my brother. I have a 29-year-old brother on the spectrum with an intellectual disability. And he'll be like, you're like, okay, Gal, we have this birthday cake for Sis's birthday tomorrow. Do not touch it, right? The next morning, there's like a huge like chunk taken out of the cake, right? And you're like, Gal, what the fuck? You ate the cake? He's like, no, bone did it. The bone in my hand did it. I'm like, what do you mean the bone in your hand did it, Gal? You know not to do that, right? He's acting like there's no determinism in this world. You think that I didn't know that you got hungry at night when you took your night meds and you did it? Right? By the way, this is a relationship Gal and I have, right? It's like, come on. And he's saying bone did it. Like, it just happened. I didn't even mean to. My hand just straight up just like grabbed it out. Like there was no MO. You weren't hungry, whatever it was, right? There's always something. You didn't just reach out to your ex out of nowhere. You had a shitty date with someone else, and now you reached out to them. You didn't just end up in the grocery store. You're in the grocery store because you just ate an entire weed brownie and you're starving, right? These things nothing just happens in a vacuum. So this is talking about the world is an orderly place. All right? Don't worry, Gal is treated very well and fed very well too. All right. Next up, Jord is literally like as if like being in a casino. Like she brings in water, cough drops, you know, like when they just want you to keep playing.
He is the best.
Here we go. All right. I'm having fun. Are you guys? Yeah?
Yes. Lots of head shakes.
Good. So this is the cause and effect. Like nothing happens randomly. Like I wasn't actually just end up in Jordan's apartment. I didn't have the Wi-Fi in my hotel, so I came to see her, and she's only too happy. Right? Bitch. All right, next up we have empiricism. All sciences should be leading with this attitude. Empiricism, and by the way, I remember this one because I'm like, this X determines Y. Because this happened, that happened, right? And selectionism is like, you select consequences that serve you. That's why I underlined the word select. You're going to do what works for you, okay? Now we have empiricism, okay? And with this one, I see the word like, that's how I remember it. I think of like a big emperor, like a big fat one. I don't know, he kind of looks like well, now he's all square. But he kind of looks like a sumo wrestler with like big arms, legs sticking out, whatever. An emperor wearing this like gown, whatever. And he's just yelling out like, listen, I don't care to hear all your bullshit. This is the emperor. I just want facts. You come like talking to him, whatever it is. Like, I only want the facts. As scientists, we only want facts. We don't care about your opinions. And data is greater than an opinion. Maybe some of you guys have that snap a sticker. Empiricism is saying we are solely relying on facts to make any decisions of anything that we do. These are objective. This saying, I gotta see it. I'm not relying on rumor or he said, she said. I gotta see it. Like, oh, she spit 33 times. Or he flashed the crowd 7 times, right? These are facts, what are happening. This is like not your opinion. These are observations. So imagine an emperor saying, like, I only want facts. I don't want any of your opinions. Cool? Josh jumped 5 times. These are facts. These are what I'm observing. Okay. Now we're on the next E. And the word I'm going to underline here is experimentation. Sorry, I mean experiment. Because, oh, and by the way, sorry, anyone tying things together, empiricism, that sounds like what level of scientific understanding? Anyone? You've got this? Say it out loud.
Description.
Description, that's right. You've got this. Nice, Shira. Description. Great. So now we're talking about experimentation. This is when we're starting to like meddle inside of things. And we are doing also known as a hashtag experimental analysis. Okay? Hashtag manipulation. We are actually manipulating variables now. Okay? We're meddling. And this is when we hashtag look for a functional relation, meaning what is causing something. This sounds very similar to what level of science?
Control.
Exactly, control. That is exactly what it's like, okay? This is the basic strategy of how we manipulate variables, okay? We look at like, okay, well, if I remove attention, what's going to happen? I remove attention, he starts crying. Okay, I put attention back, he stops, right? This is exactly that level of control. This is what we rely on in all sciences, okay? Next up, we have replication. And inside the word replication, we can see what word? Anyone? What do you guess?
Replica.
No, we have the word at. No, I'm kidding. Yes, we have the word replicate, okay? Replicate, okay? This is hashtag repeatability, hashtag reliability, hashtag believability, hashtag detect human error. So write that down. Replication, hashtag repeatability, hashtag reliability, and hashtag believability, and it helps us detect human error. And what do I mean by that? Okay, I'm standing up for this last one. So, replication is super important in a science because, talk about this. Remember when all the COVID stuff was going on? Who wanted to be the first, and we were all scared, we were all like Cloroxing all our boxes. Who wanted to be the first person to get the COVID vax before they tested on anyone? No one, okay? Right? Once I did it on 2 people, okay, still not sold. 3, 4, 500 people, not really. 3,000, 3,000 plus some mice, okay. 5,000, a million people, 5 million. Okay, you know what? I'm kind of seeing that it's okay, right? I'm gonna do it. Repeatability is when we could show that something works more than once, we're more likely to believe it, okay? So if we have replication, we're able to replicate it. Or if I'm like, hey, watch this, I could, trust me, whenever I send him the I'm pregnant text, what happens? He immediately responds to me. Okay, really, Leah? Prove it. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Send it to this guy I'm hooking up with. By the way, I think I missed my period, I'm pregnant. What happens? I get a response immediately. Okay, let's see. Is it true? Okay, it worked that one time. Was it luck? I don't know. Let's see. Next guy. I'm just a psycho bitch everywhere. Every guy I'm talking to on the different apps. You know, sleep with them one night, tell them I'm pregnant, they're a dad the next day. Same thing again, right? It's like, okay, we're seeing some replication here. This is increasing my believability that this is actually true, right? That this really does work. Or you're like, oh my God, I took an Adderall and I got so much done. It's like, cool, you did it that one time. Maybe he's also got a good night's sleep. It's like, no, watch, I'll take it this other day. Look how much I got done, right? The more times you can show me something, the more I believe it. Same way with, shout out to anyone, by the way, like someone like Christina Proctor, who's a BCB already and decided to join the collective again. She was an early person to take the collective, okay? There wasn't the same level of repeatability and believability. When you come in, you believed in me from the get-go to help you pass the test. I really appreciate that because I didn't have the believability that I have now, right? Like you see more people being like, Snav helped me pass. Without Snav, I never would have passed, whatever it is. Now you guys are here, right? That's that level of when we say, when there's repeatability, we say, oh, now that increases my believability. Now I'm believing in something more, which we talk about being like, okay, this seems like something that is reliable. So whenever you see those 3 words, think of them together. Repeatability, believability, and reliability. Woo! guys, guess what? I'm out of breath. And I hope I have some voice for this conference tomorrow that I'm seeing. I literally feel like I might be gone, but I've had so much fun, so it's fine. Guys, that is all of class tonight. Congrats, you've made it through your first collective. For the first time ever, I am going to tell you where you are going to go now. Usually class would stay on and we'd answer these questions, but now we've added them into your account. So if you go into your account, right here under collective 1, you will see it says collective class 1 end quiz. We got to choose if we're going to call it end quiz or knowledge check to keep it consistent for you guys. But it's right there. There's 5 questions for you to answer with detailed feedback. Okay? So that is everything you need for class tonight. I'm going to show you what the first question looks like in case you're someone who doesn't have it in your account because you're just visiting. We'll do the first question together. But usually these are going to be there for you to do on your own. And then when you're here in the live, you're open to ask us any questions that you have after class, things that you had a question about class or some other concept. We're here with our books ready to answer. And if we don't know the answer, we will open our books with you. Okay, so here's the first question. You'll be reading it to yourself, but just to fade myself out, I'll start by reading it to you. Okay, here we go. Carla is a 3rd grade teacher who's feeling frustrated after a chaotic morning. After she vents in the staff lounge, she says, "I don't get it. Ethan just randomly exploded during morning work. One minute he was fine, the next minute he was screaming and flipping chairs. It came out of nowhere." Her teammate, Jordan, who's also a BCBA, listens with empathy but can't help noticing a red flag. Jordan knows nothing is ever truly random and there's always a cause, even if it's subtle or hasn't been observed yet. Which attitude of science is Jordan relying on in her reaction to Carla's comment? Is it parsimony, empiricism, selectionism, or determinism? Do you know, Jordan?
Determinism. Lots of correct answers just coming through the chat. Ding, 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 ding.
Beautiful. Okay, if you put determinism, the answer is determinism. Okay, and you will have feedback. This is what your feedback will look like. I don't know why it says, I don't know why this image specifically says incorrect, because if you did put I think we were trying to show you, so we put an incorrect answer, and then it showed you the green is whatever the correct answer is. But the answer is determinism. So if you said that, you're right. The answer is determinism. It tells you this is because Jordan is showing the attitude of determinism, the belief that behavior doesn't just happen out of nowhere. Even though the trigger for Ethan's outburst wasn't immediately obvious, Jordan's operating from the mindset that there is a cause. There's always a cause. It just hasn't been identified yet. That's classic determinism, assuming lawful relations between behavior and the environment. Okay? Then it goes through the rest of them to tell you why they're not right. I am going to tell you right now, when you do these questions at the end of class, it is in your best interest to read the feedback for why the one is right and why the rest are wrong. Because you will learn something from all of those. Okay? So guys, congratulations. You've made it through class 1. If you're here and you are already signed up, we're so happy to have you. And you're 4% through the collective already. Take out your test content outline on the app, your piece of paper, and you can mark off A1. After tonight's class, we've covered A1, identify the goals of behavior analysis as a science. And A2, explain the philosophical assumptions underlying the science of ABA. All right, and next time for class, you need to read your Cooper book, Chapter 1, pages 7 through 24, and Chapter 2, pages 25 through 32. You need to watch your ethics section 1 in your account. And there's a Bear, Wolf, and Risley article in your account titled Some 7 Dimensions of ABA. I know it seems like a lot, and try your best to keep up with the reading. At a minimum, read the summary of the chapters so that when you come to class, you're not even like, well, what are they even talking about? At least you've read the summary, and then you come to class, we'll teach you the information, and then you can go back and read it for detail. Now, the one thing I'm going to tell you is just be careful because you don't want too much stacking up that you have too much reading to do. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for coming to the first class. For anyone who joined on Instagram or TikTok, I don't know how I did that with so many distractions, but it was so nice seeing so many people. Any questions you have, we're here to answer your questions.
You want me to stop the recording?
Yeah, we can stop the recording.
All right.
Any questions, feel free to ask.
Recording
We're here.
stopped.
I have a question.
Sure.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
So if we're not able to make it to the class and we want to see the collective or the class after, like, I don't know, after an hour or something like that, where can I go?
Like if you want to show up an hour late, you mean?
Yeah, because right now at my work and I can't like focus like 100%, so I would probably just look at it at my house.
Perfect. So if you buy any of the live collectives, it will be in your account that you could like join the Zoom. You'll just be joining late, but you obviously would have missed some. But the class will be uploaded within 24 hours at the maximum. We just say that just to create some wiggle room in case, so that then that specific class will be uploaded into your account.
Awesome.
So
Thank
you'll
you
watch
so
like
much.
that night's class.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions about anything? We're here.
I have a question. Oh, yes, thank you. Well, I have kind of same question, but most of the time of these classes, I'll be really busy. So, for example, today I was in my daughter's training while you were teaching. So it's going to be really hard for me to be focused on the activity. Based on your experience, is there any difference between watching or being in the class live or watching it afterwards?
No, I would say the content.
Better results.
No, I'd say the content is equally as great. It's gonna matter. Are you someone who actually could make yourself sit after? I mean, but to be honest, you don't really seem like you have a choice. If you're like, I mean, it seems to me like you'd have better studying watching a video on your own or watching a recording of class than like kind of half being there in a kid's performance, so I stand by any of our collective products that are teaching the stuff to you, whether it's recorded or live. It's the same method. Just like my jokes evolve over time and get funnier. But if you get a live collective, and sometimes you could attend, you'll get the actual recording of that night's class. But if you get an actual video bundle, it's like professional recordings. They're all good. This tastes like bug spray.
And then, like, what the difference is also is that we'll stay like this at the end of class and answer any questions. So you have us live and in person for a period of time after class just to answer whatever questions that you have.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
We had a question come through the chat, and I'll just read it, and then you guys can answer. Someone says that they've heard